Recognizing the first black woman to win Mrs. Universe. Juanita Ingram is not only a pageant queen, she wears several hats, including lawyer, author, philanthropist. I can go on and on. She also stars and serves as executive producer of The Expats, International Ingrams, an award-winning reality show highlighting African Americans living abroad. Take a look.
I have friends that I've known since I was 2 years old. Are we keeping you from having, that kind of bond, that kind of, kids are not the only ones that have a hard time making friends. Hey. Oh, okay.
How are you?
Good. Go with the wave.
I might just slap somebody.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed. Well, joining me right now, Mrs. Universe 2022, Juanita Ingram. Good morning, Juanita. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here this morning, and we salute you because you made history last fall when you became the first black woman to win Mrs. Universe. Not a first for you, though, because you're also the first African-American woman to win the title of Mrs. Indiana, United States in 2007. Ms. World International 2012, Mrs. UK Universe 2013, Mrs. Great Britain World 2011. I'm not finished. Mrs. UK International 2014, placing top 3 at Nationals. Whew. Well, do you feel the pressure possibly associated with being the first, because you really are the essence of black excellence?
Oh, thank you so much. I don't feel pressure, but I do feel a lot of honor. It has been a long journey for me to ascend to this level. As you can see, historically on the international level, there aren't a lot of black queens, period, across the board, across many systems. So it is an honor and it's a privilege. The pressure was relieved when they crowned me. So I'm here now, and I'm really excited and appreciative of all of the outpouring of support that I've received.
And you also say that you do this pageantry with purpose. Can you explain?
Absolutely. I started in pageantry only in the Mrs. division, and a lot of people didn't even know that there were Mrs. pageants. People are so familiar with teen and Miss, but when I started, I was already a lawyer, and I prayed about it. And you got to be careful what you pray for. I had already been asked to speak to several girls groups, and I said, God, how can you use me? I want to do this more often. And I heard God whisper pageantry, and I said no. Then I went to the book of Esther, and really that's the first historic account of pageantry that we have, but it was with a purpose. And so pageantry with purpose can be powerful. It's intentional for me. I'm very focused on empowering women and using this platform for young girls and women.
And we appreciate you doing that too. And congrats as well on the second season of your award-winning reality show, The Expats, International Ingrams. Why was it so important for you to have the cameras follow you and your family and really just display your life for the world to see?
I think it's really important that we normalize black people in international spaces. And this type of show had never been done. So as a filmmaker, you always look for the story that's never been told, for the imagery that's never been seen. And we've never had a lifestyle show about people living abroad, about expats, period, and certainly not black life abroad. It's so important that we reshape how reality TV really handles black-led cast. So this is an all-black-led ensemble, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. It's black finance. It's an independent project. But it was so important for us to normalize us just being. I hope that this project will do for international living and travel for black people what we saw a different world do for higher education, and really dismantling some of the stereotypes and reshaping how people see us show up in the unscripted genre.
And it's really interesting too, because you chose Singapore, so I'm really fascinated by you making that choice to live in Singapore with your husband and 2 children. Why Singapore, and what was the hardest part of living outside of the United States?
Yes, well, we started out in Taiwan early in the season, and moving in the middle of a pandemic and in the middle of a lockdown to Singapore was a struggle. My husband's job and his job promotion sort of dictate where we go. We're a corporate expat family, but there are 12 other expats that we showcase in the show, and their journeys for everyone from student exchange students to military families, digital nomads. And it was just really important for Black people to know that they have options. You know, it's Black History Month, and it's also Black Expat Month this month of February. And there are so many Black people historically, especially Americans, who have gone abroad to really find themselves, to explore their own mental wellness, and to find a new leaf in life. And so it was important to showcase the options that we have as Black people and what it really looks like, not just to travel, but to live abroad, and how that can be an entirely new landscape for so many people.
Juanita, thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that. That just lifts my spirit, and I'm really glad to hear that you're doing so well in everything that you're doing and also paying it forward. We ran out of time, but we appreciate you joining us this morning, and continued success your way.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. And folks at home, you can watch season 2 of the Expats International Ingrams now on Amazon.